Hel- Hello, Jatin sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. We will start in 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, all. This is Jigisha Wala, Scientist B from Patent Information Center, GUJCOST. On behalf of our advisor, Dr. Narottam Sahu, and our whole team, I welcome our eminent speaker, Mr. Jatin Trivedi, sir, Senior Partner of YJ Trivedi, and Ms. Preeti Daya, Examiner of Trademark from Trademark Registry, Delhi. And to our participant to this fourth day of Gujarat IP Festival. We welcome you all. In yesterday's session, we have seen a lot information about the design by Dr. Shyam Kumar Barik sir and Shri Bhavin Kothari sir. Today we have the topic of discussions are why trademark registration is important and how to create brand value. Trademarks are often amongst the most important and valuable assets of our business. A distinctive trademark allows a business to build a public goodwill and brand reputation in the goods or service it sells. Trademarks is essentially another word for brand or brand name. Once you have trademark your business, if someone else makes an attempt to use something similar, enough to confuse customer, you have the right to legally protect yourself and stop to miss other party. So let's begin more to dip in the trademark line. So we have our speaker, Mr. Jatin Trivedi sir. Is currently senior partner of YG Trivedi. He has been practicing both as an advocate and as a patent and trademark attorney since the year of 1999. He was recently appointed as a regional consultant on the roster of world's apex IP organization WIPO, with an aim to provide technical assistance to the member country of WIPO in the effectively acceding to the Madrid Protocol. He has written so many books on IPR. So grab this opportunity for understanding more on the trademark and all the IP means. So we welcome you, sir. We also have another session with Miss Preeti Daya. She has done LLB from BPSM University, Haryana. She has also done LLM, and she is a 2 times national moot winner. She has started her career is in litigation field from 2011 from district court in criminal and civil laws. And currently she is working as an examiner of trademarks in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry at Delhi. So let's begin with the session. I'm sure today's webinar will boost your knowledge about towards the trademark. All the participants, please drop your question in the chat box so we can discuss at the end of the seminar. And we have 30 minutes for each session and 10 minutes for question answer. So let's begin with the session with Mr. Jatin Trivedi sir. Yes sir. Sir, your mic is I think muted.
Thank you. Now, am I audible clearly?
Yes sir, yes.
All right. So this voice is okay, right?
Yeah.
So, Jigisha, thank you very much for the brief introduction, and I thanks to the GUJCOST and also the leader of the GUJCOST, Dr. Sahu, for inviting me. As I said to Mr. Sahu that, I'm not an expert on the subject, but yes, whatever the experience I have gained in my 25 years of career, I'm here on the request of the GUJCOST to share that what is the essence of having the brand or the trademark, and how best you can, encash the value or increase the value of the one of the intellectual property which you have learned over the many intellectual property you must have come across in this 4-5 days of festival. So today probably I will be touching upon only the trademark, which is one of the prime and one of the crucial intellectual property have been in last decade and will be in coming future as well. So not taking much of your time, let me just start with the presentation. Digisha? Hello?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Is it visible to you?
Sir, no sir.
Wait. I need to share, right?
Yes sir. On the just click on the present now option.
I'm coming there.
Okay. Okay sir.
Now is it visible?
Yes sir, yes.
Is it okay?
Yes sir.
All right. Friends, good afternoon, and thanks for joining. Digisha, can you just let me know what language I should continue with? Is it okay if I continue with the English, or you want me to use the mixed language?
You can use the mixed language, Hindi and English both.
All right. Okay. So
we have some mixed participants.
I will see to it that what maximum I can use it, but
yes,
probably
sir.
Hindi will be little difficult, but yes, still I will try my best.
It's okay, sir. It's okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, friends. So to start with, first of all, I formally welcome you all, and in this 25-30 minutes of session, I will touch upon that how best you can create your brand and the value attached to the brand. To start with what Jeff Bezos has said, who is the CEO of the founder of the Amazon, he said that your brand is what other people say about you when you are not in the room. So that is something which is very essential, and in general case, when you are in a business, brands are always attached with the your product. So you should be developing some image which will be in talk, or which will be in the mind of the consumers or the people when you are not around, and when you are out of the room, and still people are talking about your product or praising your product or whatever it may be. It may be not praising, but it may be discussing about your product. So this is what Jeff has said some time back, who is the founder of the Amazon. So and taking that the sense with this, I will be touching upon that how best we can create the brand which can be positively discussed within the boardroom, or maybe when you are not in the room, people talk about your brand. So if we see the simple English dictionary, it defines the brand as a version of a product made by one particular manufacturer. So when we talk about a brand, કોઈ પણ brand ને આપણે લઈએ તો it connects with you the manufacturer. Okay, if we see the Adidas, it leaves you believe that it is something about the sports, it is something about the sports accessories or something about the sports wear. So it gives you an identity or the connects or define a version of the product made by one particular manufacturer. Right. So, what is the key essence of here in the definition, which is in the dictionary of Collins? It says that the version of the product, right? So, how it will be, the version in terms of that, how it will be, KV product ase tamari, right? And con manufacturer say that will be the more essentially will this brand will speak about a small word which we call it as a brand, or maybe a sign which we call it as a brand. This will speak about that how the product is, the version of the product KVSA, and manufacturer corner say. So it's simply put, your brand is your identity. So in a way, when you see the brand called GUJCOST, it gives you an image that it is works on the science and technology. It's a council which works on the research on the science and technologies side. So this is the identity of the organizations, and it is sort of like you all must be connected with some or other institute, or maybe some other people may be working with any other institutes. Like you have an identity card. So similar way, the brand is always considered to be an identity of the organization per se, right? It helps you to recognize to the really stands out in the audience. Like 10 jana apde uba hoy and I'm working for the Amazon, and if I show the business card of Amazon and people see the brand Amazon, they connect. Okay, yes, this is the person who is working with the Amazon. Jikisha,
Yes, sir.
yeah, you please intervene whenever you feel that there is some technique, because I'm not able to see anybody on the screen.
Okay, okay. In the
So
chat
if you
box,
have
I
any
can see.
technicality, please
Yeah,
come up
yeah.
with it. All
Sir,
right.
just do one thing, that just click on the full screen. So
So is it not full screen? Is it?
no, no, no. It's just so slideshow. You can start.
No, it is F5.
Yes, sir.
Now it's clear.
Just a minute, sir. No, sir.
It is yet not.
No.
Okay, give me a minute then.
So just click on that right corner of the screen. There is one option, full screen.
All right. So what is important is that to have the brand is, as stated earlier, the brand is a company's identity. It helps to make a memorable impression on the consumers. When we go for the market purchase, we carry some image, we carry some impression of the product which we want to buy, right? જ્યારે આપણે કોઈ બજારમાં જઈએ ત્યારે કોઈ વસ્તુ પરચેસ કરવી હોય ત્યારે એક ઇમેજ થી આપણે જઈએ છે. So that is what gives you an image, the word or a symbol that is called a brand, right? It allows the prospective customers and clients to know what to expect from your company. Now here, which is main point is that when the consumers goes with certain impression, when the consumer goes with some of the image of the brand, right, they will carry some image in a way that I want something, or with some expectation from the very particular product or a company, in that case of services. Like when I come to the GUJCOST, હું જ્યારે GUJCOST જાઉં ત્યારે મને એવું expectation હોય કે it will be something related to the science and technology, it will be something related to the intellectual property, something related to the patents. So this is the impression, what or the expectation, or the what do you call, the prospective customer's image in the mind when the brand is referred to. It improves the recognition and creates the trust among the consumers. So when we use the brand, when constantly we use the one brand, and we provide the equal quality services, which I will explain you how the people make the achieve the recognition and the trust amongst the customers. That will take it into the examples. So જ્યારે આપણે કોઈ પણ brand ને એક સારી quality તરીકે represent કરીએ, and if we continue using it, so it improves the recognitions and also create the trust in the mind of the customers or the consumers or our visitor in case of the GUJCOST. It is way to distinguish yourself from the competitors in the market. So when we have a brand or some identity in the mind, or we created that, it has become a communication, right, to the customers, and the customers will be able to distinguish amongst the 5 products in the market. 4 કે 5 પ્રોડક્ટ પડેલી હોય બજારમાં, તો આપણે એક રીન ટ્રેડમાર્ક વાંચીએ કે નિર્મા ટ્રેડમાર્ક વાંચીએ તો આપણને ખબર પડે છે કે ભાઈ આ કયો ટ્રેડમાર્ક છે, આ કઈ વસ્તુ હશે, અને એનાથી શું આપણને મળશે, right? So I will come to that examples as well. It helps in generating the new customers, right? જ્યારે તમે એક કોઈ પણ બ્રાન્ડ અડોપ્ટ કરેલી હોય ત્યારે એ તમને કઈ રીતે કસ્ટમર જનરેટ કરવામાં હેલ્પ કરશે, એ તમે સમજવું બહુ અગત્યનું છે. કે કોઈ પણ એક કસ્ટમરને તમારા બ્રાન્ડ ઉપર ટ્રસ્ટ પડેલો હશે, તો he will definitely refer to somebody, and another customer will come up with that image or impression, and that's how your business will emerge, business will grow, and that will bring the new customers to your product. It clarifies what it is that company offers that makes it better choice. So ઘણી વખત આપણે કોઈ બી પ્રોડક્ટ જોઈએ તો 2 પ્રોડક્ટ તો સેમ ટુ સેમ હોય, બરોબર, અલગ અલગ બ્રાન્ડ હોય, પણ સ્ટીલ આપણું હાર્ટ or આપણું બ્રેન એક જ તરફ ઇન્ક્લાઇન થતું હોય. The reason is that there is something different which makes you feel that I have made the better choice by purchasing this. It helps to build the financial values. So I will come to that example, some of the Indian brands and some of the foreign brands, how they have built the financial values or increase the financial value of the brand. So the question comes up that we talk about the brand, but a brand kai રીતે select karvi, right? How to choose the brand, right? So that is, being a experienced trademark lawyer or the IP lawyer, many client comes to us and say, okay, sir, you talk about essence of the brand, but how to choose the brand, whether what kind of brand we should adopt, what do you advise? So here it is, like, there is no fixed answer to these questions, but yes, there are few suggestions which you should keep it in mind. કોઈ ટ્રેડમાર્ક એક્ટમાં એવા ધારાધોરણ બાંધવામાં નથી આવ્યા, પણ ટ્રેડમાર્ક એક્ટના સર્ટન ક્લોઝિસને જોતા એક એવું તારણ કાઢવામાં આવ્યું છે કે તે માર્ક હેઝ ટુ બી a standout amongst all. કોઈ પણ બ્રાન્ડ આપણે લઈએ તો એ આપણા બધા કસ્ટમર્સ થી જુદું તરી આવે, અથવા દરેક કોમ્પિટિટર્સ થી જુદું તરી આવે, કસ્ટમર્સના માઇન્ડમાં રહે, અને એ સ્ટેન્ડ આઉટ થઈ જાય સેપરેટલી. That is more important. It should be creative. Any intellectual property, is always connected with the creativity, right? So here we are talking about the creative name, creative logo, creative sign, creative symbol. It should be catchy enough. It should not be like સમજો કોઈ વખત આપણે જોઈએ છે કે એક danger sign હોય, so that has also become a trademark at a point, but I would not say it as catchy because કોઈ માણસ જુએ તો એને એક fear ઉભો થતો હોય છે, right? Easy to remember. It should not be more complex, right? We must have seen that કે આપણા old age time, right? Even today in states like Rajasthan, there are many kingdoms who is retaining their symbols, right? Their signs. If you see, there are more or less is the same, but you can't remember ke kona king ma kayo che deer che, koikna ma tiger che, koikna ma lion che. So but when we see certain symbols, we recognize that this belongs to this kingdom, right? So it should be easy to remember. It should not be overlapping. It should be very separate. It should be creative, and it should be catchy too. Before choosing the brand, or the name, you must always conduct the market search. This is something very essential. We quite often see that the client invests huge amount of rupees, and then later એમને ખબર પડે કે ભાઈ ઓલરેડી કોઈ માર્કેટમાં છે અને એ માર્કેટમાં હોવાથી આપણે આ ટ્રેડમાર્ક પાછળ આટલો બધો ખર્ચો કર્યો કે બ્રાન્ડ પાછળ આટલો બધો ખર્ચો કર્યો, પણ એ આપણને પ્રોટેક્ટેબલ નથી because somebody was already there prior to me, and that is what the law says. If somebody is prior to you, and then in that case you cannot sustain in the litigation proceeding. You have to check whether anybody else already adopted your idea of or a brand name or before you adopt, or the name before you adopt the symbol or sign. If somebody is there કોઈ કે આ ટ્રેડમાર્ક વાપરેલો હોય અને તમે તેમ છતાં કોઈ મોડિફિકેશન કરીને અડોપ્ટ કરો, તો you have to make sure with the help of legal advisors or by help of the law that am I violating somebody's right, or am I entering somebody's rights? If that's so, then you have to revisit your decision and you have to rechange or redesign the brand or the identity, whatever you have created over the brand. Does your brand adhere the norms of the decency, public policy, right? Abusive ના હોવું જોઈએ. કોઈ પણ બ્રાન્ડ આપણે અડોપ્ટ કરીએ તો આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં કે ઇંગ્લિશમાં કોઈ એનો અનર્થ થતો હોય, કોઈ એવા absurd word હોય which has an anti-social meaning of it, or does it hurt the particular class or segment of the society, right? Fortunately, India has emerged as a very unique synergized country, and we have a more than few culture which has been nurtured and developed in the country, so we call it as a multicultural country. In that case, it might happen that some statement of me or my brand may affect to the other segment of the society. So when I adopt the brand, it is very essential that I should make a point, and I have an example of the Unilever recent case where this question comes up, that it hurts to a public, not in public at large, but the particular segment of the society. So all these aspects are very crucial and must not skip in any cost when adopting the new brand or the brand name. So this is a one-page advice, friends. You should keep it in the mind while you are adopting the brand. So few of the examples which I choose was Apple. આજના દિવસમાં તમને બધાને ખબર છે કે Apple is, when I say Apple, I'm not talking about the fruit apple, right? No more talking about the only fruits, right? But it is a catchy, and because of its catchy and uniqueness, today the Apple is one of the most valuable brand for the gadgets or for the computer or for the electronics. So Apple is something which I admire, or whether I would say that it stands out from their competitive products. Similar way, we are familiar with the Indian, though it is not an Indian, but yes, the Indian created brand by the Unilever, which is multinational company, Surf, right? So it might be having a dictionary meaning, but Unilever has used for the detergent product, and today over the usage, right, it has become a household brand, or the secondary meaning in the market of the consumer product as well. And the same way, the Gujarat grown brand, which is called a Nirma, and everybody knows about that, the jingle which they created initially, which stays in the mind of the consumers even today as well, that is washing powder Nirma. So this jingle, આ jingle થી લોકોના મગજમાં એટલું બધું penetrate થઈ ગયું Nirma, કે today Nirma is not limited to a washing powder brand, but it has grown in a multi-folds, and we have seen and we have witnessed that Nirma is now into the education, Nirma is now into the cements, Nirma is now into many other activities as well. So Nirma is a very unique brand. It does not have a dictionary meaning. It is derived from some independent name, right? So this kind of brand, it stands out from the competitors altogether. So Tesla, as we know that, this is the brand which has come out of the sentiment which, the person who has founded the Tesla wanted to tribute to the innovator of Nikola Tesla. And this is the brand which is literally talks about the revolution in the automobile industry. And we are very sure, and I'm very sure that you all are aware about that, where the Tesla today is already entered in India, and now we see that Indian market also on the road. We will see the Tesla soon, and it has a very unique features. And when I say Tesla, people recognize me that I'm from the automobile industry, or I'm talking about the automobile product per se. So this is the uniqueness which is adopted by the acquired by the Tesla. And again, I'm saying that the Apple, which is having a meaning in day-to-day life, which is converted into the a very valuable brand in the planet today. The Surf, which is having a dictionary meaning, but very smartly used for the detergent product, and it has become household. Nirma, it has no meaning. It is very coined, but it is used in a way that it has acquired a secondary meaning. Tesla is the brand which is obviously with the sentiment has been involved while adopting the Tesla, but still, it has become a very unique and very catchy brand when it comes to an automobile industry. Creating value out of your brands. This is something where I'm supposed to talk on. You might have seen that we have been observing that Tesla is this value. We have been listening in this. Coca-Cola has been in millions of dollars. Now Apple is running into the crores of rupees. So this is something why the valuation goes high, and how best you can use the brand, or which way strategically you can use that will enhance your brand reputation or the valuation. So one thing I must clarify, that the one key factor which helps to build the brand valuation is how you market your product, right? So brand expert often agrees that the fact that extensive marketing helps a lot of building brand valuation. So continuously, આપણે કોઈ પણ ટ્રેડમાર્ક અત્યારે તમે જોતા હો તો તમે એક સિરીઝ જોશો તો એક જ એડવર્ટાઇઝમેન્ટ કન્ટિન્યુઅસ વારે ઘડીએ તમને દેખાશે. So what is essentially it is called, it is marketing, and that will definitely, and as I said, that the experts have already said that extensive marketing helps the building the valuation of the brand. Marketing will directly affect to the consumers' mindsets and perceptions towards the product or services which you are delivering under the said brand. So when we see the serials and constantly તમને એક એપિસોડમાં 15 વખત 25 વખત આપણે કોઈ પણ એડવર્ટાઇઝમેન્ટ જોઈએ, તો what happens, it stays in your mind, and then when you go to the buy to say fairness cream, you will say, okay, give me Fair and Lovely, or maybe now it's a Glow and Lovely. But yes, so एक इमेज थी આપણે જીએ છે કે ઠંડા મતલબ કોકા-કોલા. નાउ લોકોના મગજમાં એક ઠંડા મતલબ એક ઇમેજ બની ગઈ, એક માઇન્ડસેટ, એક પરસેપ્શન્સ બની ગયું કે ભાઈ કોકા-કોલા એટલે ઠંડુ જ હોય. So this is how the marketing strategy plays a role. In brand and trademark disputes, courts often, this is more essential for me to draw your attention on, that the court often looks at the expense of the marketing and advertisement incurred by the company to determine the reputation of the company who is claiming the relief against somebody imitator. So જ્યારે આપણે કોર્ટમાં કેસ ફાઇલ કરીએ ત્યારે કોર્ટ મને ઘણી વખત ઘણા ક્લાયન્ટ્સ એમ પૂછતા હોય છે કે સાહેબ કોર્ટ ડેમેજીસ કઈ રીતે ગ્રાન્ટ કરતું હોય છે. So this is one of the criteria where court looks at કે તમે પોતે તમારી બ્રાન્ડ પર કેટલા પૈસા ખર્ચ્યા છે, એને કોઈ માણસ એને યુઝ કરે તો એ તમારી રેપ્યુટેશન પર ડેમેજ થયું, because reputation and a goodwill are the intangible things, right? So એને value કઈ રીતે કરવી. So whatever you expend, whatever તમે જે પણ ખર્ચો કરો છો તેના બેઝ ઉપર તમારી વેલ્યુએશન, તમારી રેપ્યુટેશન ડિટરમાઇન થતી હોય, અને એના ઉપરથી કોર્ટ એને relief ke damages aapti hoy છે. So one point you should remember that to enhance the value of your brand, marketing is one of the key factor in is playing the role. The second point is that it has to be a distinctive, right?
Sir,
The distinctive.
Sorry for disturbing. Yes, sir. Sir, just a minute, sir.
Yes.
Dear participant, please turn off your camera. Ishwar Kanani, sir. Dibakar Das, sir, please turn off your camera. Yes,
All
sir.
right. So distinctiveness is it has to be distinct from the other. Your brand name should be distinctive from others. That way it will easier for customer to associate to the brand with the particular company. See, normally તમે કોઈ પણ એક brand હોય અને તમે બીજી brand similar પણ launch કરો તો તમારા કસ્ટમરના માઇન્ડમાં કન્ફ્યુઝન થશે અને તમારા કસ્ટમર તમારી પ્રોડક્ટ લેવાની બદલે બીજાની લઈ જશે, બીજાની બદલે તમારી લઈ જશે. There will be overlapping in the mind of, so customer should able to associate your product with particular brand, and when they are purchasing the brand they should able to connect with your business activity and tamari product na ingredient na expectations સાથે. So it will also help the brand to stand out into the crowded marketplace, right? So આજે soap na business માં આપણે જોઈએ તો there are hundreds of soaps available in the Indian market, right? But suppose the brand Reen, when I say Reen or Liril or a Godrej, so obviously it will stand out into the market, right? So it should be different and distinct from the other. So that is one point. Second is that the brand acquires the distinctiveness over the use, right? So two way the distinctiveness can be achieved. One is that the brand per se is જ્યારે આપણે brand adopt કરીએ, જે brand coin કરીએ એ પોતે જ distinctive હોય, right? Inherent distinctiveness કહેવાય છે ને, કે જે અંદરથી જ્યારે એનો બર્થ થાય ત્યારથી, જેમ કે નિર્મા મેં કીધું કે ડિક્શનરી મિનિંગ નથી, એવી રીતે કોડાક, પેનાસોનિક, આ બધા બ્રાન્ડ આપણે જાણીએ છીએ પણ આનો કોઈ ડિક્શનરી મિનિંગ નથી. અને તો one is that the brand distinctiveness is by inherent, એટલે બ્રાન્ડ જ એવી એડોપ્ટ કરીએ કે જે inherently distinctiveness હોય. Second is that it acquires the distinctiveness by way of use. So when company constantly adopt the generic brand, right? જેમ કે આપણે વાત થઈ Apple is a generic, has a dictionary meaning, or the surf has a dictionary meaning, but acquire the distinctiveness by virtue of the use. So long duration થી આપણે 25 વર્ષ 50 વર્ષ 30 વર્ષ 10 વર્ષથી વાપરતા હોઈએ અને માર્કેટમાં પ્રેઝન્સ એનું હોય તો માર્કેટમાં જઈને આજે હું કન્ઝ્યુમર પ્રોડક્ટ પર જઈને એમ કહું કે ભાઈ મને સર્ફ આપો તો they will not give me anything else what gives meaning in the dictionary, but they will give me a surf washing powder. So એવી જ રીતે હું જ્યારે ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક શોપમાં જઈને એમ કહું કે એપલ આપો તો they will not give me an apple as a fruit, right? But they will give me Apple as an electronic product. So one is that it has to be an inherently distinctiveness, and second is that distinctiveness can be acquired or achieved by way of use as well. If extensively used and for a longer period, then it can be also established that it has acquired the distinctiveness. So here is something which is also again the one of the criteria for achieving the value of the brand is a brand message. એની બ્રાન્ડ, કોઈ પણ બ્રાન્ડ આપણે વાપરીએ તો એ બ્રાન્ડ એક ફેરલી મેસેજ કન્વે કરવો જોઈએ. અને નોર્મલી અત્યારની સિચ્યુએશન એવી છે કે ઇટ ક્રિએટ્સ ધી પ્રેશર ઓન ધ કન્ઝ્યુમર્સ. તમે કોઈ પણ માર્કેટમાં જાઓ તો અત્યારે તમારો લેટેસ્ટ ટ્રેન્ડ જે હોય એનું ડિસ્કશન્સ વધારે થતું હોય, be it a product, be it an accident, be it suppose election હોય તો we talk about that કે ઇલેક્શનમાં શું થશે. Suppose અત્યારે one of the famous movie actor so-called committed suicide or maybe murder, that's a mystery, but yes, people talk about much, people read about it more because it's a current topic. So thus the customer can easily relate. એટલે હું કોઈ પણ current topic સાથે જો brand નો message convey કરવા માંગતો હોઉં તો it will relate immediately in the mind of the customers. And moreover, in the past decade or so, there has been increase with the pressure. Now with this mindset, many manufacturers, many brand owners are suffering the constant pressure from the market acceptability that the consumers attach or associate with the current affairs. એટલે એ લોકોને constantly latest affairs સાથેની advertisements કરવી પડે કે એના messages આપવા પડે. Recent examples, as you know, that the Mahi, the captain of the Indian team, cricket team, MS Dhoni has retired, and the Amul has come up with a very nice caption, but I'm sure that the all fan, the message what Amul has shared with the all fan club and appreciating the Dhoni's contribution. One is that it is the social cause, and the second, I'm sure that many of the people who have visited this slide, sure definitely will be able to relate this slide to the Amul. Right, similar way when the Donald Trump have visited to India, so the Amul has come up with a very nice creative artwork, and this is how the customer can relate to the brand as well. So brand message, what you are conveying through the brand, is more essential as well. Customer empowerment is something which is more essential further. When a brand removes barriers, solves the existing problems or eliminate the customer frustrations, the consumers will feel the empowered, right? So sometimes you feel it like, yaar, aa gaadi to male chala, aa gaadi to female chala. So that kind of barriers are there. So brand that solves the problems of or conserve the resources makes customers feel empowered, secure, and confident are often the most successful and valuable brands. So, as I said it, ke apne gender bias घणी वक्त થઈ જતા હોય છે. So this empowers certain brands, or empower the customers, and that's how you reach out to the more customers, and the brand can reach out to the many places. Coming to the main point, that this is most important aspect to consider, that once you have a brand, you must protect under the trademark law. I've not talked much about the law because I'm sure that અહીંયા ઘણા બધા ઓડિયન્સમાં છે એ law graduate નથી, but essence તમે સમજી લેજો પ્લીઝ કે જ્યારે પણ આપણે brand adopt કરીએ ત્યારે એને પહેલા protect કરવી જોઈએ under the trademark law. And I'm sure my colleague, my host panelist, Preeti, she is to take care of the trademark procedures. So protecting your brand has a numerous advantage. તમે જો એને register કરો તો it brings you a competitive advantage as well, કે તમારા customers માં, તમારા competitor માં તમે stand out થશો, અને it will bring the monetary benefits as well. Obviously the bigger market તમને મળશે, monopoly મળશે, brand recognitions મળશે, એટલે customers turn back થશે, ફરીથી ને ફરીથી customers આવશે, repeated customers આવશે, અને એ તમારો business ને વધારશે. You can gain monetary advantage by licensing your brands. Many of the brand we have seen that is not in use by the owner, but it's being used by the licensee by paying the license fee or the royalty to the owners. So ઘણી વખત આપણે જોઈએ છે કે એક trademark હોય like franchisee model, right? So owner of the McDonald's must be sitting somewhere in the world, but today he is earning the crores of rupees from each nook and corner of the country. So this is the power of the brand. You can attain the competitive advantage by trademarking your brand name and concept. Very important, as it will deter the free riders to illegally encash on your hard-earned goodwill and the brand valuation. So આપણે કોઈ પણ trademark adopt કરીએ, કોઈ પણ brand adopt કરીએ, તો એ તમને competitive advantage આપશે by registering as a trademark. But what is more essential is કે કોઈ પણ આપણો illegal user હશે એને free ride નહીં મળે, અને આપણે and આપણી હાર્ડ અર્ન ગુડવિલ અને બ્રાન્ડ વેલ્યુ છે કે રેપ્યુટેશન છે એના ઉપર એ લોકો એન્જોય નહીં કરી શકે, અને આપણે એને રોકી શકીશું જો આપણો ટ્રેડમાર્ક હશે. So what are the trademarks, right? So that is more important. A trademark is a sign, word, symbol, or a combination which can distinguish the goods of one producer from the another. As I said it before, it should distinct from the other. The trademark function as a source identifier. આપણે કોઈ પણ trademark adopt કરીએ તો એ trademark જ્યારે આપણે refer કરીએ તો એ source identifier થાય છે કે આ ક્યાંથી આવી રહ્યો છે, right? Normally અત્યાર સુધી sign, word, symbols or combination on or a distinction થતા હતા, અથવા it was identified as a trademark, but recently the non-conventional trademark has come up like a sound mark, smell mark, or a color mark. So when we see a purple color with a golden combination in a chocolate or a confectionery, it definitely gives you an image of the Cadbury per se. So this is how the the new conventional trademark has come up. Sound mark, like when you switch it off and switch it on your Nokia mobile, there is a typical sound which will come in, or when you switch it on your Microsoft computer, there is a typical sound. So these are the sound mark registered fortunately in India. Unfortunately, smell mark is yet not recognized by Indian authority, but sooner we will have that smell mark as well. The the brand, which I said it earlier, are protected under the trademark Act 1999. It should be unique. These are the two more essential features of the brand. Is the unique હોવી જોઈએ, novel હોવી જોઈએ, અને એ બીજાથી confusingly or deceptively similar માર્કેટમાં ન હોવી જોઈએ. તો એ કન્ઝ્યુમર્સને બેનિફિટ કરશે, અને કન્ઝ્યુમરને બેનિફિટ કરશે તો એ રિપીટેડ કન્ઝ્યુમર થશે અને કન્ઝ્યુમર્સ તમને બિઝનેસ આપશે. ટ્રેડમાર્ક એક્ટ પ્રમાણે રજિસ્ટ્રેશન 10 વર્ષ માટે થતું હોય છે, અને જે 10 વર્ષે તમે એને રિન્યુ કરાવી શકો છો. So how trademarks can help build a brand. So this is where the more nexus between the trademark and a brand. The trademark are indispensable tool in today's business world. અને કોઈ પણ ટ્રેડમાર્ક આપણે કોઈ પણ બિઝનેસ જોઈએ તો આપણે એક લારીમાં વસ્તુ વેચતો હોય ત્યાંથી માંડીને એક મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ કંપની હોય ત્યાં સુધી તમે કોઈ પણ બિઝનેસ લઈ લો તો એમાં trademark is something which is very essential, because if you want a repeated customer, you have to have the trademark. So crux of the trademark law is to help the consumers to identify the source of the goods or the services, and trademarks are a brand's identity card. So what is essentially here you need to understand is that the trademark law is not only meant for the owners, but it meant for the consumers to identify the source of the goods and services કે જે એ પ્રોડક્ટ બાય કરી રહ્યો છે, જે એડિડાસ વર્ડ વાંચીને કરી રહ્યો છે, તો એ પર્ટિક્યુલર ક્વોલિટી ઓર ગુડ્સ ઓફ સર્વિસીસના એક્સપેક્ટેશન કે એ રાઈટ સોર્સમાંથી આવી રહ્યું છે એના માટે આ વાપરવામાં આવે છે. તો ટ્રેડમાર્ક હેઝ ધ કંપની ટુ એક્સપાન્ડ ધેર માર્કેટ શેર્સ. They help consumers identifying the product they want to buy in the crowded marketplace. As I said it before, is that કે તમે જો બ્રાન્ડેડ હોય તો તમે વાઇડ સ્પ્રેડમાં મોકલી શકો છો, અને એ પ્રોડક્ટ તમારા કન્ઝ્યુમર્સ વધારે છે, અને કન્ઝ્યુમર્સ વધારે તો ઓબ્વિયસલી કંપનીને માર્કેટ શેર્સ એક્સપાન્ડ થશે અને વેલ્યુએશન વધશે. Innovative phrase or the words or the slogans can granted protection under the trademark, which can be rightly exclusivity to its proprietor. So as I said it before, a combination of the word which called it the slogan and a word, a phrase, is also a trademark. But if it is unique and innovative, as I said it in case of a Nirma, is something which is innovative, then it will give the exclusivity to the proprietor of the trademark owner. The trademark does not only cover the brand name or a word, it grants the protection to the symbol, packaging, color combination, shapes, layout, letters, numbers, numerals, right? Devices, symbols, names, etc. Symbol, I will come to the one very unique example in India. So this is what the trademark is. Now friends, let's see some of the examples and then I will sum it up. I think I have already reached to my time. Just a quick few examples. One of the renowned coffee chain here came in, the Starbucks INC, and I'm sure you must be aware of that. They have entered into the Gujarat market through Ahmedabad, right? And it's a worldwide famous coffee chain. Normally આપણે જ્યારે કોફી પીવા જઈએ કે ક્યાંય પણ જઈએ તો આપણે એવું સાઇઝીસની વાત કરીએ કે કઈ સાઇઝનો કપ હશે તો આપણે એવું એક ઇમેજ ધારી લઈએ કે સ્મોલ મીડિયમ એન્ડ લાર્જ હોય. બટ વોટ ઇઝ યુનિક વોટ ધી સ્ટારબક્સ હેઝ બ્રોટ ઇન કે એ લોકોએ એમાં બી એક બ્રાન્ડ કરી, એ લોકોએ ટોલ, ગ્રાન્ડે એન્ડ વેન્ટે કરીને ટ્રેડમાર્ક અડોપ્ટ કર્યા. Now these are the trademark, and today the Starbucks only owns this trademark. એટલે કોઈ પણ કોફી શોપ આ ટ્રેડમાર્ક વાપરે તો એ રોકી શકે છે, એના ઉપર કેસ ફાઇલ કરી શકે છે. બટ વોટ ઇઝ એસેન્શિયલી સમથિંગ યુ નીડ ટુ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ ઇઝ કે જો એ સ્મોલ મીડિયમ લાર્જ કરવાની બદલે પણ એને ટોલ, ગ્રાન્ડે એન્ડ વેન્ટે કર્યું, that will also give a different image of that company, and it will help the consumers to recognize કે હું એમ કહું ભાઈ I am having a grande coffee, you will definitely connect it to the Starbucks, which is an international coffee chain. The Indian example is the dynamic of the brand is, you can imagine that what you know the brand is, as I said, it is gone into the non-conventional side as well. Bombay many of you must have seen or visited sometime that 117-year-old Taj Palace Hotel chair, which is considered one of the most luxurious and popular hotel and one of the oldest hotel in the country. There was a unfortunate incident also has happened in a couple of years back, but due to the long presence of the immense popularity, this is something which is unique. Iconic hotel, the device, the architectural chair, that has been considered as a trademark and has granted architectural design as a trademark. So today, when you see in the image, there are two images. One is the photograph, and the second one is the Taj Palace Hotel જે એ લોકો લેટરેટ પર વાપરે છે. You can see this tomb, or which not tomb particularly, but the architecture is very unique, and that is 117-year-old. So આને ટ્રેડમાર્ક આપવામાં આવ્યું છે. So this is non-conventional trademark. So you can think of the trademark is now no more limited to the brand, right? So even if you do something very unique architecture, but if you have used for years and years and it has acquired the distinctiveness, then for sure you can have a trademark as well. In a recent example, I'm sure you must be aware that just last evening I have heard about that the Apple has become the first US company to be worth of $2 trillion company, which is beating their competitor Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, which is valued at around 1 trillion, right? So this brand is like many other successful brands, had a humble beginning, as we all aware about, but slowly and steadily started to build the value towards the end of 20th century and is now a household brand. So this is what the worth of the brand, as we are talking about the brand valuation. But what is essential is that when you are adopting the brand, you should be very conscious what kind of brand you are adopting. Recently, I'm sure you must be aware and you must have read about the Patanjali Ayurvedic has announced the coronal tablet, જે અત્યારે આપણે એક મહામારી સામે ફેસ કરી રહ્યા છે, ત્યારે એ લોકોએ કોરોનાને કિલ કરવા માટે they said it will be કોરોના વાયરસને ઇફેક્ટ કરશે અને કોરોના વાયરસ તમને નહીં થાય તો થયો હશે તો એ ક્યોર કરશે, એના માટે એ લોકોએ કોરોનિલ ટેબ્લેટ કરેલી. But it was their wrong claim. But I'm not here to explain you that whether to do the right claim or wrong claim. But Madras High Court ma ek case file thayelo where the coronil was owned by somebody else, and Madras High Court એને restrain bhi karyo, and not only restrain, but they said it can be the person who has adopted, that is Patanjali Ayurved, એ લોકોને 10 લાખ રૂપિયાનો ફાઇન બી કર્યો, અને they have said that projecting a cure of the coronavirus was their object, which is also false. And a coronil tablet, which is also owned by somebody else, coronil brand is owned by somebody else, therefore they cannot use the word coronil. So this is what happens, that when you use the misleading trademark, when it obviously affects to the company's reputation as well. As I said it before as well, that some of the brand is worth of millions of dollars, and if you invest into the brand very systematically, you can earn. So Sesha Hair Oil, which is again a Gujarat based company, and many of you તમારામાંથી ઘણા બધાએ આ Sesha Oil નો ઉપયોગ બી કર્યો હશે અથવા સાંભળી બી હશે. So recently the True North કરીને investors છે, તે લોકોએ 75% stake Dan Lab, who is a manufacturer or the owner of the Sesha, એમાં ઇન્વેસ્ટ કર્યો, અને which is about 700 crores rupees invest કર્યા. So this shows that the company can reap monetary value of its brand. So brand has a lot of value in it. Another Ahmedabad based company જે Blue Coat કરીને adhesives બનાવતી હતી, જે adhesives manufacture કરતા હતા અને textile chemicals વેચતા હતા. So any popular brand હતી Blue Coat Marine, Blue Coat D3, these are the brands which they were using. But what is essential is that due to the popularity and value of the brand, the Blue Coat has been taken over, or they acquired by the adhesive giant, that is Pidilite, at the cost of 263 crores. Friends, remember કે આમાં brand જ ગયેલું છે. બેમાંથી એકેમાં 75% ઇન્વેસ્ટ કર્યું 700 કરોડમાં સેસામાં, એમાં brand જ છે, કોઈ ફેક્ટરી, કોઈ premises, કોઈ physical assets નથી. અને this is our fortunately this is our Gujarati brands. Both of them have earned. So I've intentionally kept the Gujarat based brand. I thought that many audience will be from Gujarat, they will be able to connect with the brand. So this is the worth of the brand. How the Unilever have understood the change in the public sentiment, as I said it should not be affecting to the sentiment of the people while adopting the brand. So recently તમને ખબર હશે કે the brand which was adopted in the 1975 in Indian market, and more than 80% of the lightening and brightening cream market was held by the brand called Fair and Lovely. And they have changed from Fair and Lovely to Grow and Lovely. It was respecting to the racism, which was unfortunate situation which has erupted in the US and spreaded into the world. They have changed from Fair and Lovely to Grow and Lovely and voluntarily. That is something which is essentially required to note, and notable movement from the Unilever. So Unilever picked up the change in the people's perceptions and emotions and rebranded the iconic brand Fair and Lovely to the from Fair and Lovely to Glow and Lovely. This moves was welcomed by the Indian public and uploaded across the all platform and entire world as well. So this is something where you adopt a brand which may affect to the sentiment, and even if it is affecting, you should dare to change the brand, because the consumers will take it you in a negative tone as well. So similar way, Pepsi has branded the active. Pepsi thought that they will actively involve into the, praising the people who is, police people who is fighting against the Black Lives Matters movement, which has started in the US. But they identified the American supermodel, and she is handing over the Pepsi can. A Pepsi can આપી રહી છે, અને but it was so happened that it is backslash for the public, and the advertisement was criticized for not being realistic. કારણ કે Black Lives Matter was something against the human and public brutality, police brutality as well. So subsequently, Pepsi not only have removed the advertisement, down the advertisement, but have apologized in the public statement as well. So this is the example that how to use the brand and where you are associating your brand is also very important. It affects to the consumer's mind, and it affects to, it affects to your value, or it affects to your business as well. So takeaway from this talk is that the distinctive brand is always stands out from the market. Trademark play a key role in protecting the brand. As I said it, if you have a trademarking, you can definitely defeat someone, you can enhance the value, and brands are a company's identity, which is time and again have been said by many others. Role in sensitize the company's image. As I said it in case of a Pepsi, when you are adopting, or example of the Unilever, it helps you in enhancing your reputation, and brand also helps sometimes damage if you are wrongly associating your brand with certain activity which carries the sentiment of the effect to the sentiment of the people. So closing remarks by saying what is said by the Scott Cook, the brand is no longer what we tell the consumers. That is more important. It is what consumer tells each other, that is called a brand. So Mr. Cook is on the board of eBay and Procter & Gamble. So with this note, I once again thank you all for my patience hearing, and thanks to GUJCOST for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts on the brand and brand valuation as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Sir, we have 2 to 3 questions.
Yes, please.
So one question is there, can trademark be used after modification in style or pattern?
So what I understand is, Jigisha, that they want to change, એ લોકોને એમની જે બ્રાન્ડ છે એ કરેલી છે, અને એને આપણે ચેન્જ કરીને વેરાયટીમાં વાપરવી છે. That is what I understood. ટ્રેડમાર્ક લો બહુ ક્લિયરલી કહે છે કે જો તમે બ્રાન્ડમાં કોઈ પણ ફેરફાર કર્યો હોય તો તમારે એને રી-રજિસ્ટ્રેશન કરાવવું પડે. માઇનોર ફેરફાર જે which are not part of the essence of the trademark, but જો આપણે એસેન્સમાં ફેરફાર કર્યો હોય તો આપણે 100% ટ્રેડમાર્કને ફરીથી એપ્લિકેશન કરવી જોઈએ. યુઝ કરવા માટે કોઈ પણ ટ્રેડમાર્ક મેન્ડેટરી નથી, રજિસ્ટ્રેશન કમ્પલસરી નથી. તમારે કરાવવું હોય તો જ કરાવવાનું, પણ જેમ મેં મારા પ્રેઝન્ટેશનમાં કીધું કે જો તમે કરાવો તો તમને કાલે એના બેનિફિટ્સ ઘણા મળી રહે છે.
Sir, how we can choose strong trademark?
I said it in my presentation that hello. So I said it in my presentation that it should be distinct from others. એવું એક કોઈ યુનિક બ્રાન્ડ, કોમ્બિનેશન ઓફ બ્રાન્ડ તમે લઈ શકો કે સમજો કે કોઈનું નામ ના હોય, કોઈનું સરનેમ ના હોય, કોઈ ભગવાનનું નામ ના હોય, કોઈનું રિલિજિયસ સેન્ટિમેન્ટ અફેક્ટ ના કરતું હોય, રાઈટ, ઇઝી ટુ રિમેમ્બર હોય, શોર્ટ હોય, રાઈટ. આવી રીતે તમે કોઈ પણ ટ્રેડમાર્કને એડોપ્ટ કરી શકો છો. એનો ડિક્શનરી મિનિંગ ના હોવો જોઈએ. right? And more essentially, as I said it, કે section 11 of the trademark act prohibits કે તમે જો કોઈ પણ માર્ક હશે અને એનાથી પહેલા કોઈ પણ માર્ક કોઈએ અડોપ્ટ કરેલો હશે તો તમને એનાથી સેમ ઓર સિમિલર માર્કનું રજિસ્ટ્રેશન નહીં મળે અને એને પ્રોટેક્શન નહીં મળે. એટલે મેઇન વસ્તુ તમારે ખાસ યાદ રાખવી પડે કે એવી બ્રાન્ડ હોવી જોઈએ એ તમારા કરતા અર્લિયર આ એક્ઝિસ્ટ ના હોવી જોઈએ.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one last question is there. What is the major difference between design and trademark? So
Okay,
there are a
design-
lot of confusion between design.
Design, I'm sure yesterday Bhavin have dealt with, but I
Yes.
will tell you that the design is something which is related to the configuration of the product. Now, when we sit on the chair, તમે કોઈ પણ ચેર પર અત્યારે બેઠેલા હો તો એ ચેર જે છે એનો જે શેપ છે એનું કોન્ફિગરેશન છે એ ડિઝાઇનમાં ફોલ થતું હોય છે. એને ટ્રેડમાર્ક નથી કહેવાતો હોતો, પણ ઓવર ધ પીરિયડ અગર તમે એ વાપરો, એ શેપ વાપરો, જેમ કે કોકા કોલાની બોટલ છે તો એ ડિઝાઇન રજિસ્ટ્રેશન પણ છે અને કોકા કોલાની બોટલનો શેપ જે છે એ પણ એક ટ્રેડમાર્ક તરીકે થાય છે. પણ એ ઓવર ધ પીરિયડ તમે એને વાપરો તો, પણ બાકી અધરવાઇઝ તમારો શેપ એન્ડ કોન્ફિગરેશન વિલ ફોલ અંડર ધ ડિઝાઇન, અને ટ્રેડમાર્ક ઓર અ બ્રાન્ડ, a word combination or symbol will be considered as a trademark.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting us.
Okay, thank
It
you.
was very informative session.
Thank you.
So we will move to the second session with Miss Preeti Daya, ma'am.
Hi, hello.
Preeti, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Mr. Trivedi?
I'm good.
I was
I'm
like
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry I've taken much of your time, but please
No issues. It's
excuse
okay.
me. Yeah.
It's okay. We to actually work together, so I know we should actually adjust that much. So it's it is totally professionally welcome. So no issues at all, not at all.
All right. I've not touched upon the process of the trademark visa. I've been told that you have been taking care of. So all the best and enjoy your session.
And I must say that your presentation was like very, very fruitful, and your Gujarati indeed is like very
Yes,
fantastic.
ma'am.
Oh, you were there?
I had been in Vadodara for 2 years, so for me it was like quite surprising that other than this thing, the Majama Che wala, I haven't learned anything. It was like
All right.
quite.
Okay. All right. Preeti, all the best for your session, and I look forward. I will be here for for shorter period, and then I will take your leave.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Preeti.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a minute, just I need to share my screen. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. You can click on the present now option.
I'm clicking, but that button is not active. It is showing. It is not able to. I might go through the A window,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
but that
Just open your window.
it is opening, but that button is not.
Yeah, and then click on the present now option.
It is not working there. I have clicked on the present now button, and then the
Yes.
screen has came for the screen sharing for Hangouts only. This is only popping up.
You have to click on the window option, ma'am.
Okay.
Window. A window.
A window I have clicked.
Yes.
Then only I'm not able to find out.
Maybe Miss Preeti, you might want to just one time log off and log in. Open the PPT first.
Okay, you need me to then just give me a minute then.
Yeah.
I need to open my PPT.
Excuse me, after you click a window option, it will take some time and it will load all the windows available. So after that, you have to click the window which you want to present. So it will take some time loading all the windows available with Google Meet.
Yes,
Yeah, we
ma'am.
are-
It's working. It's working, ma'am.
It's working?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we can see.
Just zoom out so we can. It will be nice.
Is that sufficient?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. It's okay. Yes.
Okay, so I think as Miss the conversation which I had last with Satya, Miss Satya, so I came to know that a scratch over the IPR has been given to everyone who is actually now listening to this conferencing, and you must be having an idea what IPR is, what brand is, what design is. So any idea, any exercise of human intellect is also a subject matter of the property. So people were not actually aware of that, and I will assume that you know somehow the history regarding the IPR. So just cutting off that, I would just state that intellectual property is basically an intellectual exercise of human intellect. So it somehow actually deduces this idea that a sort of human creation or any human idea or any thought is basically a concept of intellectual property. It, for example, it can be music, it can be any abstract form which can be taken as in subject matter of intellectual property, and later on it can be divided that what kind of intellectual property it is and what criteria does it require to basically follow. So and there is a certain very important thing to understand, that why this in this scenario, in these circumstances, there is a need of an R of an IPR, because very first thing is that it will encourage the innovation, it will encourage the competitiveness, and somehow the whatever the thoughts, the creation which has been created out from one of the human intellect are required to be protected and being from copied from the others one. So, and also not more than, the most important thing is that the person who is going by the brand value, going by the trademark, actually his right should not be vitiated just because it has been copied by some random person or some random party. So IPR is actually the need that the people at large actually needs it, that why they for the in the terms of public interest, for the sake of the public at large, IPR is a need, and for the person who is actually creating such an innovative idea, that it has to be branded, it has to be protected, so people at large can know him and he can actually get in lieu of that creation. So this is the need of an IPR. And there are the certain types of intellectual properties. For example, this is the trademark, then geographical indication, one of the utmost thing to be right now, which has been, people are not paying much attention to, but it has to be encouraged. GI, and that to be this state which we belong, that is India, the country which we belong, it is basically required. And to correct it, that I have used the term state because in international platform the state is actually termed for India rather than going by the like whatever the states and districts we have. So I have termed state for India. So the types of intellectual properties are trademark, GI, copyright, patents, semiconductors, and design, also plant varieties and biodiversity. So these are the certain types of intellectual property. So on the basis of the human creation or any idea which they have, and they have actually get it in a form. So on that form, it has to be basically divided in the types which you can't actually, which you are basically seeing through this slide. Coming straight forward to the fact that what trademark is in particularly, I'm going with this thing only. Trademark can be a word, it can be a name, it can be a phrase, it can be a logo, it can be a design or symbol or any numeral or any 3D image or any of the combinations which I had mentioned. So if all of these things come in a sort of very unique or innovative, and to be very specific, not at all copied from somewhere else, if it comes out, then yes, it can be registered as a trademark with the registry. And also trademark can only be used for identification of the goods which you are basically using it, and or for the services, so that your trademark can be distinguished from the others goods and services, and you can establish yourself in a market. You can have a market value. So for that purpose, this trademark is required to identify, for the identification of your own good, your own service, and at the same time establishing the difference, that how your own good and your own service with this particular X, Y, or Z trademark is different from the existing one or coming up the new ones. There are the certain types of trademarks, but let me tell you, earlier there was this thing, though law is not at all static, but earlier there had been this very strict standard that trademark can be conventional only, that either it can be a word trademark, or it can be a letter trademark, or it can be a numeral trademark. I'll come to all these trademarks one by one so that you can at least understand that what are even in trademark, that what can be the types of the trademarks which you can approach before the registry. So now at the present scenario, present time, then there are two types of the trademarks, whether it can be a conventional one or unconventional. That is up to the applicant only, with which type of the mark that concerned applicant wants to approach, whether that concerned applicant want to approach it with the conventional trademark, or he wants to actually approach it with the unconventional trademark. Unconventional trademark is basically a sort of volcano in the life of an IPR. It can be where it has been come before that even a color can be registered as a trademark, a sound, a packing, a shape, and now to add in addition that yes, even a smell can be registered as a trademark. But in India at present, no smell has been as far as registered as a trademark. But yes, in US, a specific there is a fabric smell of rose which has been registered as a trademark. You can go by that only. So coming to these specification of conventional and non-conventional trademark, I have produced a slide that even a single color or a combination of colors or constituted by along with some of word marks of different color can be used as trademark. For example, just going by this example of dairy milk, this color of purple color over the wrapper of the chocolate, it itself can be registered as a trademark, other than the fact this Cadbury and dairy milk are trademarks. So you just need to understand this thing, that even itself in a single logo there can be 2 or 3 trademarks, or even it can be a single trademark. When I said that combination of different word marks of different colors, it actually depicted the word Google. So you need to understand that in your daily life, from head to toe, a person goes by trademark. The moment you wake up and by the time you get back to your bed, you're actually going through the trademark. It just people need to actually visualize and understand that what trademark is and how come it can be trademark and how it cannot be. So this is the color trademark. So even in a single thing only, you can find several trademarks, and if even it can be only a single thing only. It's Cadbury can only be a trademark. This purple color itself can be registered as a trademark. So you need to understand that any applicant or among you who wants to approach to get an proposed mark or any image to be get registered as a trademark, they need to understand that what category falls for, whether it is a color trademark or it is a sound mark, it is a hologram. Continuing with that sound mark, for the sound mark, it is required just that a series of musical notes is required to be presented, and that notes, those musical notes, with or without words, to be very specific, can be registered as a trademark. So, for example, I think the most famous Tarzan yell, everybody knows, everybody would have gone through this Tarzan movie. So that Tarzan yell has been specifically registered as a trademark. So it creates a sound, even an Airtel jingle, or when you switch on the Nokia phone, so they're having the joint shaking hands, 2 hands coming out, and then even a sound comes out. So even a sound can be registered as a trademark. Along with that, packaging, I have seen, and Mr. Jatin also have actually discussed with this thing also, that there is a difference between the shape trademark and there is a difference between the design. So you can see here that I have given an example of Tiffany and Company, the boxes, the way they pack, that packaging can be registered as a trademark. It includes the color also, the blue and the white packaging, which includes in the box. Their boxes came in a special way. So this packaging of a product can also be registered as a trademark, but condition to be that packaging is basically required for the identification of that product or regarding that service. It has to be mandate, unless and until random people can come with several packaging and they can actually ask us that they want this packaging to be get registered as a trademark. So it has to be some sort of that uniqueness, that with that packaging only that concerned service or that concerned product can be actually used and identification of that service or that good. So that is required on that part. So this is how come a packaging of a trademark even can be used as can be actually filed by an applicant. Hologram, you must have gone through a very, this is something very latest thing, that holographic pictures and images. Earlier, this holographic images had been registered as a trademark only in China, to be very specific, and there you can actually find several holographic images, several holographic stickers or graphs which they have actually registered as a trademark from India. This is mandala welcome holographic picture, which you can see. So this hologram basically uses sort of representation which can be represented graphically. So these graphic representation in 3D images or in 4D or in whatever the electronic mean is available, through those means it can be used graphically for the people at large to understand, oh, this belongs to this. For example, India is basically known by this mandala welcome picture. So these kind of holographic images and pictures can also be registered as a trademark. Coming to the conventional one, word mark can be registered as a trademark. It can be a simple word. For example, I would say it is showing you several examples at Disney, Dunkin' Donuts, Dove, Airbnb. So these are registered trademark. These can be registered in trademark. Even a person coming with the ABC can come for a registration of trademark, but then it has certain liabilities, certain conditions to be actually qualified for registration. That is, we call a spectrum of trademark. So first I'm going by these things only, and if you can present your simple ABC into a very, very innovative way, in a very unique way, so certainly that simple thing can also be registered as a trademark. But yes, it has to be in a stylized form. It has to be something appealing before the people, that just by having glance, no other thing comes in anybody's mind other than your goods and services, other than applicants' goods and services, which is required on which is basic quality to be qualified as a trademark. A numeral can be actually taken as a trademark. I have actually taken the examples from basic things only, through which people can connect, oh yes, it can be trademark. So this detergent cake has been, I have seen several famous, I don't know whether it is in Gujarat or not, but I have seen it most in northern part of India, that 555, 555, this is a sort of very famous detergent cake, and this numeral can be registered as a trademark. Along with that, there is slogan and phrase of trademark, which can be registered as a trademark. For example, if I'll go by this Amul Butter Girl, or I'll say very famous one and very known to each and every, McDonald's, I am loving it, along with letter M. So I need to make you understand this simple letter alphabet M can be registered in trademark, and the slogan, the tagline, I am loving it, it has its own beauty and own identity to be get separately registered as a trademark. So that's why it can be that slogan and phrases can be registered as a trademark, but there are conditions applied, that it cannot be promotional in nature. For example, you say that if you are actually in a sort of gifting industries and you actually used it, you want to get registered a tagline, say it with roses, and when we ask that what is the purpose of your industry, then you say that mine is a gifting industry, then certainly it cannot be, because it is promotional in nature and it has nothing new, nothing innovative which can actually make you to say that it can be registered as a trademark. It cannot be motivational quotes also. For example, you can do it. It cannot be done because it has been so generic in these days that anybody, not a specific person, can have a sort of right, a sort of monopoly over some sort of motivational quotes. And even if you say that if you have a sort of using a tagline which having some sort of value statement in regard to your proposed trademark, then certainly that value statement cannot be considered for a proper trademark. Reason behind, because these value statements are nowhere innovative, nowhere authenticity is there, nowhere new creativity can be seen in any of the promotional or motivational or valuing statements. So this is the reason that a tagline can be registered as a trademark, a phrase can be registered as a trademark, but yes, at the same time, it has to be something which is not so common with the public at large. When they hear it is for them a new thing, and it is not something in generic that it is used in daily basis and then you come to the public. Though there is a different scenario, if you have itself established a very good market and then you're coming before the registry to get these well-known things which is already known to the public, and then you want it to be get registered and trademark, certainly yes, then that particular statement or particular marks can be registered as a trademark by the virtue of the use, because it has already established a goodwill. It has already a certain amount of an audience that people know you already outside. So yes, that usage, that your promotion, your already built up reputation can be a good evidence for you to be get registered a particular mark to be as a trademark. I have given you an example of slogans and phrase also. For example, eat fresh, innovation that excites, and keep calm and carry on. This was a UK government slogan, I guess, during World War II, as far as I am able to remember it. So these are the certain kinds of the slogans and the phrases which can be registered as a trademark. And I think everybody knows these things. And I have given an example of I am loving it also. Switching to the things, service mark. I need to make you understand this thing, that when you select a trademark, either it is for a good or for a service. We have specified these goods and services as per NICE classification, which is available on www.ipindia.nic.in. There, this classification of goods and services has been provided, and the total number these classes are 45, 1 to 34. If anybody is dealing in manufacturing of goods and he or that particular applicant wants to approach for a trademark in manufacturing of any goods, then that particular classes will be 1 to 34. For example, if somebody is dealing in clothing, manufacturing of clothing, then the relevant class is class 25. If there is a pharmaceutical company, then the relevant class is 5. So while manufacturing of goods, there are these classes 1 to 34. If somebody is dealing in some sort of services, then that services basically falls under class 35 to class 45. And while using the services, you can also collaborate that I actually deal in the manufacturing and trading also of these classes. So if an applicant wants to approach and he is dealing in both manufacturing and classes and services, then that particular both of these classes are required to be mentioned by the applicant to be specific before the registry, so that they can understand that particularly in what goods or services that applicant deals. And if somebody deals in service, the particular mark is used as SN, which is circle. This is basically for the unregistered service mark. Once a word mark or a service mark is registered, once a mark is registered for goods or services, then it will be R, which is in circle, which is quite prominent, and anybody can see it from any of the registered trademark. I have given above, like Disney or McDonald's, the letter M itself, it is registered. Service mark, I have given an example of service mark. So IRCTC, everybody knows that it is our Indian Railway Catering and Tourism Corporation Limited. So this basically serves the foods and it deals in the catering of the food and providing foods and drinks. So for this, the particular class is 42, and this is how it can be registered. You can see that IRCTC itself is a very simple semblance of the several words. So you might find that it's not that much unique, but yes, then again it has been presented with a sort of logo with design and where somehow an R can be seen. So this is the nature that how you can propose before the registry, and an applicant before approaching towards the registration of a trademark, that person, that particular applicant needs to actually specify in his own mind that how come that proposed mark can be reached and in basically what category it falls, whether it is a service mark, whether it is a goods mark, or whether it is a color mark or a sound mark or a holographic or 3D device or 3D image. I must say that there are certain things also, for example, character. At times what happens for the public at large, that there are certain names through which they cannot actually pronounce, and at times it happens that it's not possible that you can actually see the name. But just by seeing the character, you can actually, the public at large, the common consumer can have an idea in his mind that, oh, this particular good belongs to this brand. this particular service, basically the character which is showing is basically belonging to this service. For example, this Amul butter girl is quite famous, that everybody knows that it is used in a dairy product, and it is basically used for the butter, which is very much famous in India, the Joker of McDonald's. So just by going by the character or image, a company can actually serve and actually establish their own brand, and a character can be registered itself as a trademark. Other than the word Amul, this Amul butter girl can also be established as a trademark, and this character and image can be used by an applicant to again establish a very frequent goodwill in the market, and it can actually prohibit the rest of the other people for using it into their own goods or in services. Along with that, there is certification of trademark also. It basically indicates that there has been some certain kind of standards, there has been certain kind of regulations which has been accepted while manufacturing or while maintaining those services. And it is a sort of assurance that certain standards and regulations has been maintained, has been qualified for the quality of those goods and services. For example, FSSAI, which is basically for the safe and nutritious food. If a food product is FSSAI marked, so it will be very clear that yes, this particular food has been FSSAI approved, so it is actually edible. So these sort of certification trademarks is basically required for basically maintaining and for basically maintaining the public at large and study that yes, I can approach for these goods in, or I can approach for this service, or I should not approach for this service and not good because it is not at all FSSAI approved. So this certification is basically in favor of consumer, that while actually approaching some sort of the things, they need to understand that okay, this has been certified and it has some sort of brand value, so I can actually approach it. Along with that, if I'll go by that, not only certification of trademark, there is collective trademark also, which is basically owned by an organization to identify its members. For example, if an organization is having a very, very long name and each and every time it's not convenient to specify it, so any member who is working on that organization can use that particular collective name. For example, it is Reliance Communication Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group, so they have actually occupied with this thing Reliance. So the member and the organization itself can use this mark Reliance as in collective, because it can be used by the organization and its member at the same time to get themselves identified before the public at large. Tata & Sons, it is also a collective trademark, so that the people working with this organization and the organization itself can actually identify them inside before the public at large. There is this other thing, trade name. So there is difference between the collective trademark and the trade name. Trade names are the simpler forms of the name which can be used by the companies instead of using their very long, very, very formal and executing service name. So that's why these trade names are used. For example, CPAM, you must have worked this. This webinar has been, I think, in association with the CPAM only. So basically, there is a very big trade name of the CPAM. There is, it actually stands for Cell for IPR Promotion and Management. So it's actually very difficult for the public at large to remember, and even for them to each and every time address themselves. So for them, trade names has been actually taken out, a simpler form from their actually company's name, a simpler form has been taken out, so which is called CPAM. So this is how trade name basically work, and this trade name is basically different from the collective mark, because collective mark can be used by its own member of its organization, and they basically use it to get themselves identified. It is irrespective that at time their collective mark is, whether it is difficult to pronounce, whether they are having very long and very formal names. So this is somehow there is a differentiation between the trademark. before going there, these were the types of the trademarks. So once if an applicant or any person, a layman, is sorted that what kind of mark is there, so now the only thing is that it has to qualify certain standards to get it registered as a trademark. It should be unique, it should be innovative, it should be easy to spell, it should be easy to remember in context of the consumer or the public large where it is promoting in terms of the consumer market. It should not be laudatory, it should not be contrary to the law, it should not be descriptive in the sense there are 3, 4, 5, 6, there is a sort of stanza. So these stanzas, these paragraphs cannot be registered as a trademark. You need to specify it, and you actually need to get that paragraph to be identified by a simpler form, a simpler mark or an image or a logo or a character. And it should not be deceptively similar to the existing one, which I have said earlier, that if I am using Adidas, it is ADIDAS, and if somebody tries to copy it by replacing D by B, and he launches in the market with the shoe by making it Adidas. So it should not be deceptively or similar, or it should not be of nature that it will create confusion before the consumer, and they might get confused, and they might think that this Adidas somehow belongs to the Adidas only. So while selecting a trademark, it is actually required and mandate on the part of the applicant that it should not be in such kind of the things. It should not be descriptive, it should not be deceptive. So if the more the unique and innovative it is, the more the spectrum of the getting it to get registered as a trademark, this chance increases. Is registration of trademark is mandatory? It is not. I have seen a question also, somebody asks that if somebody's mark is pending while pending for registration, how can somebody use a trademark? So the thing is that registration of trademark is not at all mandatory. So it is only the will of the applicant only that whether that person wants to get registration of that particular mark or not. So this is the thing. So they cannot get it registered unless and until they themselves don't want it. If a registered trademark, there is this difference and then right, that if my mark is registered, certainly I'll get a protection, and so I can stop the third party from using it. This is the thing. So, but I must say that even an unregistered trademark holder have some certain types of rights, hold some certain type of remedies against the people if those who are actually infringing his mark, not legally because that registered trademark, because that particular mark is not at all registered, but yes, anybody can use it, and that usage of mark can actually establish as a good evidence before the registry if at the latter stage that particular applicant wants to come. But this is a very simple and clear law that this registration of trademark is not registered. I'm so sorry for this interruption. Actually, I had been aligned with my second meeting, so that is due by 3:30. So I'm so sorry for this, basically this interruption. Coming back to the thing, who may apply for the trademark? Any individual among you also, a corporation, a partnership of a firm, government department, or any trust, anybody can come for a trademark, anybody can apply a trademark, but that could be with the certain conditions which I have said earlier, that yes, it has to be unique, it has to be as per the law. I want to give it an example that once I guess US has used bathroom mats using the image of Lord Shiva. So it has been considered that it is basically of nature to infringe a particular sector, religious sentiment. Also, it has been found that it is very immoral. So then and there, it has the US actually the US enterprise basically struck down the production of those bathroom mats, having door mats, having the image of Lord Shiva on them. So you should, any applicant while approaching for a trademark should come before some sort of uniqueness which anybody hasn't seen. And even the examples which I have given prior, you kind of have seen that these examples are basically very, very known to it. Taken an examples which are very known to the public at large, but they have some sort of uniqueness, and also at the same time when they have been approached to the market, nobody else actually catered for them. So while applying for a trademark, it is a very clear process. I has been very strictly told that I do not need to go to the legality and technicality because it could be a sort of boredom for you guys. So once an applicant basically files a trademark, so being an examiner here down with the registry where where these applications are being received, a trademark search is actually done by the examiner to see that the applicant who himself states that mine is the unique and innovative, but in some sort of protection we actually search it so that it should not infringe anybody's others applicants or registered proprietors right. And then that if it has been somehow objected, if we find that some sort of registered trademark is there or some phonetic similar mark is available, then we issue them an examination report and we actually wait for their response, and if their response is satisfactory, their mark is accepted, and if it is not, then that particular matter is set for a hearing. Being a quasi-judicial authority, we actually conduct those hearing, and we hear the parties that why their proposed application should be accepted and it should be gone for the registration of the trademark, and why it should not be struck down before the registry. And if that registration is done, it has been given to the public at large, given to the particular applicant, then yes, certainly that registration is for 10 years. That registration basically prohibits the public at large to not to use it, not identically, even not similarly. That is what Section 11 of Trademarks Act says, and there is then Section 9 of Trademark Act also, 91A and 91B, which states that it should not be immoral and it should not be against the policies. If a registered trademark is actually given to the party, then the protection is granted to them. If somebody infringes the registered trademark, that infringement can actually cause up to the fine. It can actually cause up for the sentence also. That sentence can be up to the 3 years, or both can be conducted for both of them. I just want to switch to some celebrated case laws that Amul, we basically in trademark registry know it as an Amul war. So what it is famous that the Gujarat has this dairy major dairy product, Amul product, and somebody actually filed with the mark Emul just by replacing the word A by I. So it has been decided by the court that A and I are somehow phonetically similar and deceptively similar, and it is of some nature that it can cause confusion between the public at large. Therefore, that Emul as a trademark for a brand regarding the milk or for dairy product, it has been struck down, that application has been struck down, because Amul somehow itself has a very well-known reputation across the transborder also, and also it is somehow phonetic similarity, which I have said while qualifying to get a mark to be registered as a trademark earlier, that it should not be deceptively similar. So from here you can actually get it. Again, there is this case, we call it actually trade dress case. If you will able to see that Colgate was having a trade dress of red and white, it was a ratio of 2/3, and similarly then Anchor actually launched a same product with having a trade dress of red and white combination. So here Colgate basically filed a suit against Anchor stating that they have copied our trade dress, they have actually copied the ratio of our trade dress, so it cannot be taken. So it is somehow wrong, but the Colgate's case has been struck down by the court because they said that these colors can be used in different combination. Now you cannot claim that my 1/3 and 2/3 cannot be used by this other party. This cannot be established. So the Colgate-Palmolive case was not at all maintainable. So hence if there had been earlier products, it can be seen that Anchor with this red and white combination can be seen very easily. It has been with Himalaya Drug Company case also. What happened, Himalaya Drug used to actually launch a product with the Lib 52, we call it Liver 52. Then SBL Limited also launched a product named with LIV-T. So it was held that nobody actually claimed the exclusive right to use over their generic words. For example, liver. Liver is a very generic word. And for matter of sake, I must say that even aspirin also, it has been declared that aspirin is a generic word. Now nobody at large can have. It is basically in domain of public. It is for the use of public juries. So nobody can have a claim over the generic word. So liver itself was a very generic term. So neither the Himalaya Drug Company nor the SBL company can have a right over the word LIV or liver. So these abbreviations, these acronyms, which are which are basically in domain of public, can't be established as a good value to be get registered as a trademark. Hence, the plaintiff's claim was not at all valid in this sense. So this is my presentations regarding this trademark. I hope I must have been clear to you guys. And
Yes,
for the shortage of time, I'm so sorry because my time has been deducted from earlier and I had been aligned with my second one meeting.
yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
It was wonderful session. You have given lot of examples, so I think all the participants are clear.
Actually, I had been told by Satya very clear that they actually need a more brief about the trademark rather than going by the technicality.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I
Yes, ma'am.
and I take try to take example from your daily lives only, so that you guys can connect into it.
Yes, ma'am.
For a particular mark to be get registered as a trademark, they can search it there. They need to just type out there and they need to specify their own class, and then they just need to click over the button search. Then any identical or similar mark, a list will be popped out. If somehow identical or similar phonetic mark is there, that list will be popped out. And from there, they can actually search that whether that mark is basically available with the registry or not. That is the only concern of the applicant should be. That while applying for a trademark, they should keep it in mind that particular mark is not kept pending or registered with the registry. This is the key criteria they should keep in mind.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
So, dear participant, if you have any questions, please just mail to the info.pic. So we will try our best. So we have seen, Miss, how you choose your brand, customer empowerment, and how trademark can help to build a brand, and lots of example by Preeti ma'am. So thanks to you, ma'am.
Pleasure. I'll take your leave now. I'm so
Yes,
sorry for
ma'am.
the shortage and for this run period.
It's okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for connecting.
Be safe, be happy,
Okay, ma'am.
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Bye. Dear participants, tomorrow please be there at the 2 o'clock. We will discuss on the GI, and we will connect with Shri Chinnaraju Naidu sir, Deputy Registrar of GI, and Shri R.D. Barhat sir, Joint Commissioner of the Industrial Commissioner from Gujarat. So please be there at 2 o'clock. Thank you so much for connecting. If any queries there, please drop your question in the WhatsApp group. So we will be happy to see your questions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, participant.